Do something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before.
We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route to do. We the people are free. And I hope we have once again reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited.
Oh, forgot to take the bleeding thing down again. Rushing. Hello, folks. How are you? I trust you have put in everything you need to do this week to give yourself a bloody good weekend. And hopefully, I know some of you are joining us, but I don't know exactly how many. But we're looking forward to a good little group tomorrow joining us at the Sundowner Hotel in, call it Caboolture, Bribie Island, right at the turnoff, the Bruce Highway and Caboolture, Bribie Island turnoff. I think it's 8 to 14 Aerodrome Road, and arrive for 12, and we're looking to sort of order about 12:30 if that's what we can do to sort of get our food all delivered together, if that's at all possible. Fingers crossed, and all those beautiful things. Look for this building because that's where you'll find us inside of. Just ask for the Voice of Freedom table, and we'll be there. As I say, not sure how many people are being there, but we're going to look forward to catching up with you. It will be spectacular. Speaking of spectacular, it is Friday, and it is that time of the week where we get the waving wonder to do the waving thing. And here he is.
And there's the wave you didn't get in the middle of the week.
You're looking a bit shiny tonight. What's going on?
Just the light system. I probably need to adjust something. And we've got one light on it over there that tends to reflect. And I could just say it's my halo. Or it's the lack of hair plugs.
I was going to say we'd just get more hair plugs.
There we go. I just got switched off for me.
There you go. Look at that. You've got colour in your forehead.
Are you saying that I actually need hair plugs, Carl? Really?
No, I would never. No, my friend, I would never suggest you need hair plugs. I have been in the industry, the radio industry, long enough to have grown up with the hair plug industry from when Yeah wasn't quite as good as it is these days. And when the blokes who went off to check it out came back with what looked to be something like an industrial sewing machine had stitched a hair every other hole in their head, and there were lines of these things over the bald patches. It was something truly painful to behold, and I believe quite a painful experience at the time. But they did rapidly improve, and Shane Warne, I think, was in the era of where there was some very rapid improvement, and he was pretty fastidious about his hair. In fact, there were a number of Australian cricketers, I think, involved in the 90s with Yep. And nowadays I believe that they have been able to somehow medically induce hair growth, natural hair growth, back out of your scon. So I don't know how good that is. What do? Do you rub a gel on, or do you go and get injections in your bonds?
Tablets you can take. Because one of my sons is taking some tablets due to the fact that his hairline started to recede a little bit early. For me, I don't care, right? No, it's a father thing, apparently. No,
it's not.
I look at it two ways.
It is the female hands on the gene to the male she produces.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was the other way around.
No. Well, at least that's what I remember from Form 2, genetics. Balding was the thing.
Yeah, I look at it this way, right? When people make a comment about my head, I say, well, there's two really good reasons why this occurs, right? The first one is I have 6 kids, so I did a lot of U-turns on top of the bed. The second, right? The second is I have so many brain cells that push the hair follicles out.
Yes. Well, I would go with the second because I'm too scared to even think about your first.
The first one.
Yeah, let's just go with the second one. Hey,
Okay.
there are a lot of great folks in the chat tonight. Hello to everybody. We're not going to go through and name everybody, but nice to see Gail's in and Anne Penny's in, and the lovely Deb Shippard is in, and Watha, who is waving his foot around in the air at us all, and hopefully tomorrow we'll have it raised appropriately while he's scoffing into a steak.
I want a picture of that.
I'll organise up some pictures. Robert Hupfield has been in hospital also with leg issues. He's very thankful that after 4 operations he still has his. So great to know that you're, was it right to say getting back on your feet? I don't know. But anyway, thank you, Robert, for the support that you give us. And, of course, anything we can do for you. I know, Robert, last time we did, Where in the World Are You? I think you were down Boonah way, or I have that in my head that you're somewhere in southeast Queensland. Does that mean that you're in a hospital around this end of the world somewhere, if you're in Brisbane or Ipswich or I don't know, wherever else, the Gold Coast? Hello to Len, who's also not very well at the moment. Len's been a great supporter of mine and very great, knowledgeable man. And I'm very sad to say that he's had a bit of a turn with his heart, and he's back into one of the Gold Coast hospitals at the moment, hopefully out today, maybe. But maybe not. He has a bit of a money-making idea he's been sending through to me. It has something to do with an app where you essentially wind up owning, or you own, some form of electric bike transportation in a place like Hong Kong or Beijing or wherever it is. And you get paid a percentage every day of the take that machine gets. So arrived at the PA at 6 a.m, was operated on at 9, recouped by 3, and just finished your dinner. Mate, tomorrow's a day of travelling for me. You might find, if I can figure out how to find you, I'll slip in on the way back. It's a big promise at the moment, but the PA is always somewhere I can get to. What was I saying before that?
You were talking about the app and the electric bikes.
Oh, yeah, these electric bike apps. So anyway, apparently once a day, you essentially wind up getting paid. He said at the moment he's being paid along the lines of $34 or $37 a day simply for, clicking the thing and allowing it to be used and put into the system. So there is no buying. I don't know. I'm going to find out more about it, but it sounds like it could be interesting if I don't have to do anything, and particularly don't have to wear any liability for some poor little Chinaman losing his nutsack as he disappears over the handlebars when hitting an uneven bump in a friggin' sidewalk somewhere. So a lot of people being impaled by the handlebars of a lot of these electric scooters in particular, I think, with that. And electric bikes, apparently just owned by hoons these days, young gangs of electric bike riders. There was an event yesterday in Wollongong, I think it was, in fact, right up the hill from Guru's, and a bunch of ladies who were doing a historical walk, and all of a sudden surrounded by a group of young blokes on electric bikes and giving them a mouthful and giving them all sorts of stick. So I know the police are very active in Queensland on electric bikes at the moment, and they will take it from you, and you will not see it again if you're doing the wrong thing. So, yeah. I just want to mention... Sorry, I just want to mention Sandy and the donkeys. So Sandy rang, or didn't ring, sent me a text this afternoon, and she's sharing it with you guys in the family here. So it's quite upsetting. Sandy has been blocked in because of the rain, flooded in, if you like, on the sanctuary. But there is a long way around to get to her parents, and she went to get to her parents today and was shocked to discover that the local pharmacist was there and had already given them the latest flu shot, an RSV shot, and an additional COVID shot, both mum and dad. Dad's 86 on next Sunday, and I think mum's just a couple of years younger. So As Sandy puts it, it's a very sad day for our elderly who get conned into this garbage. And she's 100% right. My mum went the same way. I had a very long conversation with her, at the beginning of COVID, convinced her that she shouldn't be getting the jab. And a couple of weeks later, she rings, or I ring her. She never rings. I ring her and say, how you going? She said, I've just back from the doctor. I've just had me flu shot. Oh, and I had me COVID shot. And I said, oh, did you? And my heart sank. It just, so I know. But we can't make the decisions for them. That's, the problem, I guess. We've got to come to terms. And a lot of what in fact, everything that we are here for in this life to experience has to do with choice, and the choices that we make, the decisions that we make, and the consequences flowing from those choices and how we handle those, what this life experience is all about, and the learning that we get from it. Some learn faster than others. Some don't learn at all. And I put my hand up because it's a bit like that in, all different ways. Okay. So let's go over to the starred comments because I saw this come through. Connie, who was first in the house tonight, thank you, darling, has come up with this idea. The Freedom Family make Friday night for $1 for donations. So Friday night, $1 donation night. If we could get 11,000 people doing that, I've got to admit that would be a truly, truly spectacular thing. However, Vince, do you want to explain? Because you do it much better than me. It's not a however. We would be very grateful for the $1, but listen out for this bit.
Yeah. So here's the catch with it. It's a fantastic promotional idea. I really would love it. However, for every $1 that you guys donate through, say, our website, for instance, Stripe is going to take 30% 30-cent card processing fee. So your $1 is now 70 cents. Then they're going to take 1.7% of that. So therefore we lose another 1.7 cents. So $1 will cost us $31.7 cents. However, if you did $2, right, it's only going to cost us in the processing fee $33 and 33 cents. I got dollars in my brain here. 33.4 cents. If you did a $10 donation, it only costs us 47 cents, 30-cent processing fee and 17 cents back to Stripe. So the small amount, why it's fantastic, actually we lose a lot more money than if we had bigger donations. Does that make sense, people? Because for every time we do a process, it's a 30-cent card fee charge. So whether it
just
be
screwed me up with the $10
or $10 or $1.
I see. So yeah, for a $10 donation, we lose 47 cents of that.
Correct.
Yeah. Right.
And for a $1 donation, we lose 31.7 cents.
Right.
Okay. So the smaller the donation, right, the less we get of it. That's how. So
maybe instead of doing this on a Friday, we should do $2 Tuesdays.
Yeah, well, that would work out that we'd get $1.60 something out of the donation instead of 67 cents or whatever it might be. 68.3, actually. Had to do some maths in my head.
You notice I'm just gazing around the room while everybody's talking numbers and maths because you know me and numbers.
Oh, speaking of numbers and maths, you know that the answer to life, the universe, and everything is 42, right? You remember
42?
That? 42?
Yep. Indeed, I do.
It's wrong.
No.
The answer is actually 9. So if you take any number above 10, right, any number above 10, and you take, let's say, for instance, we'll take the number 16, okay? You put
Right.
1 and 6, you add them together, is 7. Right? You take the 7 away from the initial number, 16, and the answer is 9. Now, that works all the way up. Say, like, for instance, we had 1,234. We add those numbers together. So 1 and 2 is 3. 3 is 6 and 4 is 10. So we take 10 away from 1,234. It becomes 1,224. Now let's add those numbers together for 1,224. So that's 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 2 is 5 plus 4 is 9. The answer is 9. So the answer to life, the universe, and everything is 9. Just curiosity.
You've just ruined the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy for me.
I know. I realized that. Totally 100% destroyed the most favorite thing in the world. Yeah.
I mean, that's just not right. Is there any useful thing that this can be used for?
No, not really. It's just a curiosity, an oddity. I thought I was being smart, and I told my youngest son, and then he proceeded to tell me, if you do that in the base 3 or the base 6 or the base 9 or base 11 or 16, it's going to be the same result. I went, what? Okay. So much for outsmarting my young son.
So much for. Thank you to the Silver Fox, who has thrown into the chat, as did the Pipe Master, who put his $1 in a little earlier. And I know the Pipe Master is attending tomorrow. Oh, look, he's come back and he's had another go. Friday, $1 each. You're a gentleman. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, mate. Really am. I haven't seen Clayton Bear in the chat, but I think the big fella is coming tomorrow. We're looking forward to seeing him for lunch as well. I'm just trying to see if there are any questions, comments, thoughts, or queries. Do I see that Anne Penny has lost something there somewhere? I see Beckio has said, sorry for your loss, Penny. I don't know what loss that is. Beckio's doing her own grieving at the moment. Of course, she lost her beautiful boy Loki yesterday. Lovely husky. Beautiful boy. But as with all those magnificent dogs, the day comes and the greatest love you can actually show them is to put them out of pain, and that's unfortunately what Beck and the family had to do yesterday. So, and Penny, if you've had to go through that as well, or Anne, if you've had to go through that as well, I'm, sorry.
Yeah. All right, Charlie Brown, we'll have to look at that one. I'll have to chase that one up and see what the deal is with that.
Okay. Yes, we will have to. Becky O's put this up. Do you take a piece of clothing off Carl? We need something in return.
Yeah, okay. Seeing he doesn't appear to be wearing too much, Beckio, that might be a bit of a challenge. All right. Not sure if the camera will handle the whiteness, but yeah.
It wouldn't take too much. I mean, less than $10, and we're all in for a bit of a shock. I mean, that makes me cheaper than a Saturday night hooker on Fitzroy Street. That's that's not good.
Right. And we can go with the manly physique of Carl Liebold.
Mind you,
ask what size cut, mate. I'm not going to ask.
Oh, no, there's a good, well, stop enjoying it. I'd have to say there is a large B to a small C, I would say.
I'm just going to say I'm going to trust you on that, having never felt them, so that's fine.
Most people do, which is probably well. Actually, having said that, I got sent something today from a person who runs a sign company, and thought of me when a new range of signs was being promoted. So here's the one they sent me.
Love it.
It's not, what can I say? It's nice to be thought of.
Well, this show just went from somewhere to somewhere else, but that's okay.
I thought I'd give you a bit of a laugh, if nothing else. In fact, I've got to go back to the chat now and have a look at the reaction down the bottom.
It'll take a couple of seconds to come in, mate, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be excellent. All things
Black
considered.
Sheep is in the house. Well, he's not in the house. He's sitting in a catamaran on Lake Macquarie doing some sailing tomorrow. Black Sheep, you are a man amongst us. Very good. I've got a mate who lives off Lake Macquarie. One of the Galactic Larrikins, in fact, lives down that way. I don't know if it's Lake Macquarie he lives off. Near Swansea he lives. So I think that is somewhere around the back. If you take your shirt off, all the tickets might just fly away. You are 100% right. It has been my observation that there is only a certain kind of woman that can handle a body like mine. And sadly, my observation also bears out that they can't handle it for very long and end up getting rid of it as fast as they can.
And if anybody's hearing that cackling in the background, that's my friend Lana, who is busily doing some of my bookwork, and she's just having a laugh at what Carl's saying. So if you hear that coming through and any rude, lewd comments, it's coming from her, not me.
Oh, very nice. Oh, okay, I'm correct. Black Sheep's saying all the right words. So, mate, I should hook you up with Mark. He'd love to see you, but he's probably working, I've got to say. He's a very hard worker, is our Mark, actually. He runs around, got a lawn mowing business and works as a carer in a home for high care people. Not medically high care, but mentally high care people. So,
yeah,
very, 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 very hard job he does.
And very hard to catch hold of. That's part of the reasons why he was missing half the time on coin toss. But yeah, not that the crypto market's doing anything major at this stage anyway, and I'm not really following it because I've got nothing invested in there anymore because I've had to withdraw it to live, which is what I believe a lot of our current people here in Australia are finding. They're dipping right into their reserves. They have no reserves left. Would you agree with that, people?
Oh, yes. They're designing it to suck us all dry. There has been a lot of mismanaged projects in Australia, but I've got to say two of the bigger ones, well, certainly one of the bigger ones, I don't know too much about the stadium, the new footy stadium, but I've heard an awful lot about the new terminal for the two new Spirit of Tasmania ships, which have been, one of which at least has been built for a couple of years and has been sitting tied up at a dock in Scotland for, I think, the better part of a year or more, having to be paid for by the Tasmanian people, some $100,000 a month or more to moor the thing before they sailed it to Australia. Why didn't they bring it down here and put it into service? They hadn't built the dock for it yet. I don't know why it can't pull up at the dock it currently pulls up at. There's probably a good reason. Might be a much bigger boat or whatever. But that was the issue. They hadn't bothered building the dock yet. How could that be? Because these ships they didn't buy them secondhand. They were purpose built, ground up, and now we're not ready to tie them up. I mean, that's pretty piss poor management. And if they're building a football stadium like that, God help us. Yeah, not good at all.
What, you mean
Not
building
good.
it
Thank you,
overseas
Susan.
and transporting it here
Yeah. Thank you,
instead of
Susan.
building it here in the first place? But yeah, okay. Just another one of those questions. You know,
Donna's
why did
saying,
they?
didn't Tassie have the same problem with the boats as they have with the trains? I don't know. Do the boats not fit through any tunnels? Because the trains, I think, are the biggest issue with them is that they don't fit through the tunnels. That's Melbourne, at least. In Queensland, they got new rail stock and discovered it was too long for the. There was a tunnel issue with that too, but the carriages were, I don't know, a little bit longer each, which meant that the carriages couldn't go behind a train and safely pull up at a station, at a station, because the platforms weren't long enough. Somehow every one of these things got a little bit longer, and by the end of it, there was a door system that opened out to nothing, so they couldn't use any of them. Bloody ridiculous. Or they had to drop a carriage off, and the whole reason they got these new trains was to be able to put more carriages on and do the high traffic runs, particularly in peak times, like Gold Coast to Brisbane is a very busy line. But anyway, we've got Snowy 2.0. I forgot about that one, Tony. Bloody oath. All sorts of madness coming on in the world with that. So I did say about this aggressive new cancers are coming out and killing young Australians, and nobody seems to understand why or what that is about.
Or where it
Go back
came
and
from.
watch a few shows. Go back and watch a few shows from 3 or 4 years ago, and you'll be able to say you were warned. Now, I've received a couple of times from people this week. I haven't got it here to put up. I haven't sucked it into the system, but I have received a meme that's being put up around Facebook that is extremely honest, if you like, about those people who are saying, "Oh, I was coerced. I had to go and get the jab." When I say that this is an extremely honest view of that from unjabbed people, I mean that. They pull no punches in this post, which has been turned into a meme. And I can't say that I disagree with the sentiment behind it. Everybody that we run into these days, and we talk about it, I ran into it so many times on the cruise. Oh, well, I was forced into it. Oh, yes, so many people were. And you let people get away with it. I was forced. Yes, I understand you were coerced. I know it's an awful thing to do. And this post makes the point that, but I was coerced as well, and I fought back. From that perspective. And the person who wrote it had lost their house, their wife, their kids, their family, essentially, but had maintained their dignity and their health. And now is feeling quite vindicated, but very angry, and doesn't excuse those people who say, "Oh, I was coerced, I was coerced." Because as he reminds us in that post, those people are also the same ones that snitched on us. Those are the same people who demanded that we not be allowed out, that we shouldn't be allowed to live in some cases, how irresponsible, that we must have mental health issues, banished from our families. Yep. They were the people that were coerced into doing it and who now feel great regret for doing it. They're the people who did some of the worst things to those that would not comply during that period.
Yeah.
And while we can't change that, I think we do need to find a way past that. And I don't think it's saying, "Oh, yes, we were all coerced," or "I'm sorry you took it." Or maybe that's what it is. "I'm sorry you were coerced and took it," without explaining that I'm sorry you weren't brave enough to stand up. I'm sorry you weren't awake enough to realize what this was doing. I'm sorry you were ignorant enough to not understand, believe, or find out that you were volunteering for a medical experiment before you held your arm up to accept it.
You can have empathy for these people. You don't have to have sympathy. All right. Because in all fairness, it's all a matter of communications. Some of us are critical thinkers by default, so therefore something didn't add up right from the start. But most people have forgotten how to be critical thinkers nowadays. So when they get there and, if you want to keep your job, you need to do this. Well, I need to be able to keep feeding mum and dad or the kids or whatever. So yes, what choice did they have? Some people decided, well, below that, I'll find another way. But it takes a fair amount of gumption to do that, which is exactly the same for businesses, right? Out of all the businesses that start, only 5% succeed. Why? Because the other 95% don't have the gumption to keep following it through.
So I'm going to bring up the smoking argument. Smokers cost the health system millions of dollars a year.
That's right. We pay for it.
Well, not if you found the right smoke shop.
That's a whole different discussion.
Exactly. And I have. God, now you've put me off. Where was I going with that?
The medical system, it's a whole cost. You're going to bring up smoking as an argument because it costs.
So it costs a fortune to, that's why we've got cigarette taxes as high as they are, supposedly, because we are such a drain on the health system. Well, now the drain on the health system is the jabbed, the young cancer sufferers, the people who are getting turbo cancers out of nowhere, the people who are getting old cancers that they've been in remission from for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, coming back at stage 4, just overnight, more or less. Why is that different to the smokers who supposedly cost us millions of dollars a year? What's costing our health system now, what's overloading our health system now, what's making every other bed in every hospital in this country full is something related to the jab, in my opinion. And if it's not every other bed, it's going to be very close. Yes, Robert, what a bloody good point. And that's why they don't want us having nicotine. Before COVID, they did this whole crackdown on vaping and nicotine in particular. It's illegal to vape nicotine. And yet Dr. Brian Ardis, who we are trying to get on for a chat, was the one to discover that nicotine is one of the easiest ways to make sure that the spike protein could not take root in your system. That nicotine, despite being demonized by all health systems and big pharma for so long, they do that because they make a lot of money out of the cures for smoking and all that sort of stuff, right? But the nicotine is actually quite good for you in certain respects. And it isn't that. The nicotine doesn't give you cancer. It's all the other bullshit that they mix in with it that can lead to those sorts of outcomes.
Yeah, which I am no expert on, but have heard that a lot of the other chemicals they use in the cigarettes that we smoke today are actually more addictive than the nicotine.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that's true or false, so it can't be taken down for information. I'm just saying I have heard that. I haven't seen any reports to say that that's the case. But being a smoker who has, so you miss that. Even if you've found a pure source of tobacco, you still seem to have a craving for something else that doesn't exist. I wonder why.
Charlie, send me that video. Send me that video, Charlie. I'm keen to look at it. We might be able to give it a run here. Very keen. There is a lot of evidence and a big school of thought that cancers are parasites, not not to be dealt with as they are currently dealt with, and that's in part why ivermectin was banned during COVID, not so much for the cancer side of it, because it's very good at fixing the COVID cold. But ivermectin has also been very, very good at protecting people from cancer. Now, if you look at the cancer rates of Africa, you'll find that in the countries where they take the Sunday pill every Sunday, where that everybody who goes to church in that country, and they're deeply religious countries, everybody who goes to church on a Sunday gets the Sunday pill, and that's an ivermectin pill, or it used to be for many, many, many years. That stopped, I think, just before COVID. But these people had built up such resistance, I suspect, through having their Sunday pill every Sunday for God knows how many years over their lives. The instances of cancer in these nations are very, 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 very low. And that might be because the people who catch it don't go to church, don't get access to the pill. But that has been the way that Western nations and the UN has been able to get everybody involved with their inoculations system or rollouts as well. They turn up at the Sunday church service and open a tent up beside it and try and jab as many as they can on the way out. So, and God knows what those poor people are getting stuck into them then, but that is a whole other story.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the lovely lady who I think is in Canberra, who won $60 million in Powerball?
I follow.
$60 million bucks. Good luck to you, love. And I hope to God you don't have to go to work on Monday. You'd be mad if you did. Don't need that. Something that I've always been very interested in, and I'll be lying if I told you any different, something that was one of the significant sparks that got me interested in everything that we talk about was Q and the messages of Q when they started coming out back 2016, prior to 2016, I think it was. And I'm no good at puzzles and numbers and all that sort of stuff, but I really did enjoy the whole, I was going to say, theatre that was created around it. And I think probably theatre is an apt word, because as we have been saying through the Q messages for 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus years, we are watching a movie. Now, Donald Trump, you might remember, in his first term, built a new arm of Defence Forces. It was called Space Force. Well, it still is called Space Force, and it has grown somewhat. It now has people from a number of nations working for it, including Australia. And as it appears, they are now putting out press releases. So this is a war report from the 27th of May, and here is what it says. The glorious finale. The Supreme Commander announces the end of the movie. Pure excitement is spreading across the information front as the curtain of the global theatre rises for the final act. In recent days, Supreme Commander Donald J. Trump, Q plus in brackets, has released a series of monumental messages via his Truth Social platform, making it unmistakably clear that the covert operation has reached its absolute culmination point. Featuring graphics and images that distinctly display the unmistakable Q plus symbol right on his collar, the strategic genius is breaking the phase of code restraint, or coded restraint. The declarations, game over deep state, and stay with me, you're going to love how this movie ends, are sending shockwaves through the old order, with uniting patriots worldwide in collective celebration. The fact that the Commander-in-Chief's communication is becoming so overt, offensive, and filled with confidence right now serves as a strategic signal of immeasurable value. It indicates that that phase of the unconventional warfare, the irregular warfare, and necessary military deceptions has been successfully completed. The noose has finally tightened around the corrupt cartel. When the Supreme Commander informs the global public that the game is over and the deep state it signifies within the framework of the continuity of government protocols, that the legal evidence is completely secured, the military tribunals are ready for enforcement, and the logistical preparations for the systemic shift are irreversibly locked in. These joyful messages are a direct gift to the faithful digital soldiers who have held the line for nearly a decade. They mark the exact moment where the optics, the outward appearance, merge with the real, military reality operating behind the scenes. Trump is actively encouraging humanity to view the upcoming high-intensity events not with fear, but with certainty of absolute victory. The clear presence of the Q plus synonym on Trump's collar acts as an immutable seal of the promise the light has triumphed. The emergency broadcast system, the EBS, stands ready, and the grand finale will be glorious. Hold the line. We are watching the end of the movie. Semper Fi, or Semper Supra, which is different to Semper Fi, I guess. Love and light, no exceptions, no deals. And that comes from Guardian Daniel R. Now, I picked that up from Patriot 101, who posted that up today. And he has some deep connections into Space Force and associated other entities around there. And I'm not going to take any of his thunder away from him, but he will be on the show in the not too distant future. And he'll share more about that. And you might find that a lot of things that he has to talk about there might be worth getting the popcorn for. There could be some galactic repercussions, let me put it that way. Yeah, Jenny, I feel the same way. Are we going to live long enough to see the end of it? And one of the things that we are working on is this For Your Consideration segment. And it's quite apt that you bring that up because we've been talking about it, but I haven't played the segment at all. And nobody has seen it outside of Vince, and I think Beck has seen it. I sent it to her. I don't know if it actually turned up in the email. And Glenn, but I didn't get the message back to say he'd actually received it either. It was probably a bit too big to email. So tonight we're going to premiere the first part of what I'm calling For Your Consideration, Episode 1, Segment 1. There will be 8 segments involved with this, I think. And hopefully I'll have them all done by the end of the weekend. I won't be doing much tomorrow, but maybe tomorrow night and Sunday I'll be able to knock a few out. But this is something that will elicit a conversation, I hope. And bear in mind, this is only one of 8 segments. You're not hearing everything here. You are hearing one small part of it. So try and hold your emotions in check, Vince. Sorry. Try and hold your emotions in check, folks.
What are you talking about? Just because we had this wonderfully heavy / partly emotional discussion, I don't know what you're talking about.
When he watched this, I was sitting on the phone listening to it, and after he'd finished watching it, his voice went up 4 octaves. It was like a cow had kicked him in the nuts. It was spectacular.
I'm well behaved on this show, Carl. It's when we're talking in private that's a whole different issue. And my voice does not go up like that. does look
Oh,
like
it
this.
did. Trust me. Trust me, it did. All right, folks. So, shh. Sit down. This only runs 3.5 minutes. So you don't have long to wait. Don't have long to watch. But it is going to elicit a conversation. And this is what we were talking about, having to have those conversations behind a paywall. And because of your generosity, we don't have to do that this month. So we can have this conversation maybe here one day next week. Maybe you would like to be part of that conversation. And if that is the case, if you find that this piece moves you enough and you feel strongly enough that you want to have your say one way or the other, or maybe you just have questions, then email me, carl@vofhq.com, or you can email Vince as well. What we will do, though, is we're going to screen you before we bring you into this. So that means we're going to have a conversation via StreamYard off air before you come on, and we will invite you in for that show. So you will be an invited and an honored guest. It won't be a free-for-all, and we will know that you will be truly human. I would prefer that you use microphone and camera if you have questions and you want to put in, but there will be at least one member of the panel, let's call it, to discuss these things who will not be showing their face. So if you want to be part of that, I would love to have you as part of it. I've been thinking about who I can get for the first show, and there are a number of people who I think after watching this might consider that they will step up and say a word. Darren. So let's just see how it goes. So without further ado, have you got a drum roll or anything you want to add? Try and do it in your lowest voice.
That was your drum roll.
Oh, I didn't even
Only
hear
because
that.
I couldn't get to the sound effects button fast enough.
Very good. All right. Well, here you go, ladies and gentlemen, for your consideration. For your consideration. The truth is, one cannot believe in authority and be free, because accepting the myth of government is accepting one's own obligation to obey a master, which means accepting one's own enslavement. Sadly, many people believe begging the master via political action is all they can do. So they forever engage in rituals which only legitimize the slave-master relationship, instead of simply disobeying the tyrants. The idea of disobeying authority, breaking the law and being criminals, is more disturbing to them than the idea of being a slave. Lawful dissent is the formalized expression of self-ownership and the peaceful exercise of self-defense. Lawful dissent does not initiate violence. Lawful dissent does not seek domination. Lawful dissent does not coerce compliance. It simply says, I will not participate in what violates conscience. Thus, the right to withdraw consent is an expression of your innate freedom existing beyond man-made rules or permissions, and Article 61 serves as an historical marker affirming that those who enter public service do so by free will, a choice to serve the people by honouring inalienable rights or face accountability for their actions. This accountability is the inherent balance that preserves peaceful coexistence and promotes the evolution of consciousness, an alternative understanding of lawful dissent. And here's the hardest pill to swallow. If the whole country collectively dissented, the predator class would collapse overnight. They don't have magic powers. They have command and compliance. If you stop complying, you stop funding them. If you stop funding them, they die. That's why they keep you distracted, divided, exhausted, and scared. That's why they flood you with endless drama, endless fear porn, endless culture wars. They don't want you to realize that it's not tanks and guns that keep them in control. It's your belief. It's your cooperation. It's your collaboration. It's your learned helplessness. Mass non-compliance is the only solution. Stop paying their tribute. Stop begging for their permission. Stop feeding the beast. Because the moment you see through the smoke and mirrors, the illusion shatters, and the predatory parasites shrink back to what they've always been. Nothing but powerless con men scripting your delusion. Please, share this if you have the courage to hold the mirror up. Not for likes, not for follows, but because someone in your life needs to hear this.
And that is definitely and once and only not an AI. That was the true and original Carl's voice.
Very definitely my voice. No AI involved. And thank you for the lovely words. Thank you. Don't know what else to say, but thank you. Carl, that's the voice. Speaking of the voice, John Farnham not doing too well at the moment, but they're doing all sorts of tributes to him. So we had 16 final concert tours, and now they're putting together a tribute to him, which is a great thing to do. He's responsible for some marvelous music, and now some of the biggest, I find it hard to be talking about this, some of the biggest satanic, I guess, promoting artists in the world, agents in the world, are going to be putting together this fabulous tribute for him, which is due out sometime next year, probably summer, I would say, where they can make the most money out of us. And they're doing a stage show over at 2. Yeah, so they've really rolled it out, and he's not dead yet, poor old John. He won't sing in public again, but yeah, anyway, good stuff. Thank you to everybody who's saying such nice things. I didn't do it to get a nice comment about my voice, though. You'd hope that after 40 years in radio and doing voiceovers for God knows what and everything in that time, that I'd probably be able to do it all right. So I appreciate everything you say.
Using his God-given talent, let's just put it that way.
Hang on now.
That I was going to add to that about, how can we do a direct deposit to the bank account for VOF? Carl and I need to discuss which bank account that's landing into, because we're in the middle of trying to change bank accounts. So I need to bash him over the head a bit, and he'll need to swear back at me, and eventually we'll get somewhere.
I have an NAB account that we can use, because it would just be, once I figure out how to do it and access the other accounts, we should be able to transfer the money into the other NAB account. So I can do that if you want to. I actually have it. Do I have it? Easy.
Well, even still, it's a case of making it so that we can get all the relative bookwork done for both VOF and FBN Media. Because
that's true.
We do need to report to the very people that we were just discussing about lawful dissent to in the previous bit. So, yeah. And that's part of that discussion, because it talks about how they trap you and how they work their ways with their bullshit into making you do stuff you shouldn't need to do. Like, for instance, the ATO. Do you need to pay taxes? Right.
Well, if you are going down the lawful dissent route, then that is certainly one way that you can attract their attention, show your displeasure, and it certainly will bring the wheels of the system to a grinding halt if we all did it. But this is something for a discussion of another evening.
Yeah, which we won't raise now. I'm just raising the question so people can start thinking about it for another discussion.
Yeah. If you want a bank account, reach out to me, send me an email, carl@vofhq.com, and I'll tell the government that you sent something.
Surprisingly enough, I think they already know.
I think they do too. They
I'm
they
not
know
saying
enough.
that they would do something illegal like invade the privacy of your own personal financial transactions. I'm not saying that at all. That's never going to happen. Absolutely never. Not in a million days.
Yeah,
Damn, that was short
never.
time, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay.
You're
So,
getting funnier every week, you know. You really are. You're
well, I'm
developing
practicing on it. I'm practicing.
the secret of good timing, comedy. I'm sorry, the secret of good comedy, timing. Fuck that up.
Well, it's good because that's usually me who does the wrong thing. So that's a score 1 for Carl. So we'll start
You are
keeping
doing
a
very,
scoreboard.
very well.
1
indeed.
for Vince, 1 for Carl, 2 for Carl, 3 for Carl, 4 for Carl. Oh, look, Vince pulled one off occasionally. 5 for Carl. Sorry, I've just got a weird sense of humor tonight.
Charlie Brown. Apparently, when they taxed cattle, didn't like the government, they just left town and relocated. I love that. Yeah. Get up, move away.
Yeah, a lot of discussion about that. I mean,
My word.
are we going to? We've only got 4 minutes left, so we're going to have a quick chat about this
Rip,
whole.
happy birthday.
This whole let's call an early election bullshit.
Well, I'd like to say I was first out with it, and I was first to raise the warning about it. And I think I might have been first to put up a letter to the senator about it, which, if you want, I have sent to Vince, but I'm not sure that he has it available in any way, shape, or form.
I will put it up on the front page later tonight.
But it does, and I'm pleased that Barnaby Joyce has recognised this. The Nationals and the Liberal Party are all for calling an early election. So too, I guess One Nation are to a point. They're not going to be as effervescent about it as the Liberal Party or the National Party are. And in my opinion, if the Labor Party had half a brain, they would accept the challenge and call an election and run it in the next month. Yep. Because I don't believe that One Nation, as successful as they currently are, and even if the polls were correct, and even a little bit better than correct last weekend, where they predicted 56 seats, I think it was, for One Nation, a decimation of the National Party, completely wiped out, and only 12 Liberal seats left in the nation. That would still leave, we did the maths there the other night, that would still leave them short of votes to lead the nation. That would mean that Labor would still win an election if it was called today, or, sometime in the next 4 weeks. Now, in that 4 weeks, would One Nation or the Liberal Party, let's start with One Nation, would One Nation be able to garner enough support in enough seats to take them particularly off the Greens and Labor? Because they're going to have to target Labor and Green seats and Teal seats extensively, because they've already wiped out the Liberal Party and the National Party for all intents and purposes. So they need to go after Labor and Greens, and can they get another 25 of them? Now, there's crossbenchers. They might be able to pull Jackie Lambie. There's another crossbencher there who's I think probably more favourable to the conservative side of politics. And then there's is it Fatima Payman, who is, or no, it's not her, it's some other ring-in, who, it might be Payman, who started the Australia Voice Party, and she'll vote with Labor and the Greens. So they've got an uphill battle. So if they were to call the election, I believe we would end up with Labor still winning. We would have a One Nation Liberal coalition, and we would still get all the tax shit that they have put in the last budget, and then they would ram more on us because they've been given a mandate.
Yeah.
So that's what I think would happen if we went to an early election.
Can I have my say?
Yeah.
I don't disagree with Carl. Logically, right? Logically, if I was going to game this out, if I was Labor seeing how big this tidal wave is that's coming from One Nation, and seeing how much the people are waking up that the coalition is currently stealing most of the One Nation type policies and have done a complete 180. So from the Labor people, I'd be going early, because at this stage I have enough grunt and enough forward power, even though we're in the bad books, that we would still win enough for government. If I was looking at it from the coalition's point of view, I would be going early because, A, the earlier I go, the less seats I'm going to lose to One Nation. Right. So in that respect, my idea would be to get as many seats as we possibly can, so we have at least another 3 years that we can play with and try and turn this whole debacle around. For One Nation, they really should not go early, even though they will. I mean, they'll get enough people standing enough seats to fill every seat in Australia. Let's not doubt that. The quality of those people might be a challenge. Right?
Yeah.
The quality might be a challenge. But we need quality when we're getting in there. So the longer it takes for an election to happen, the bigger the tidal wave, the bigger the quality, the more branches can be set up, etc., the more of a force One Nation becomes. So both Liberal, Labor, Greens and Teals do not want a late election or an election on time, because the damage that will be done to them is just going to be massive. Right? There is, I'm going to say it, there is a good chance that One Nation could in fact win power. Whether they're going to be capable of doing anything with that power is another question. Whether the people that come into those spots are going to have enough education to do anything with that power is another question. But the wave is big enough, the sentiment is big enough, the people are waking up to the shit that's happened to them, and this latest tax thing is just even more proof that they could in fact win. So I'm going to call that the government's going to call it early. The earlier they call it, the more chance they've got of staying in power. If they leave it till the proper time, there's a good chance they may not. But the Uni Party, right, their call is they're doing an early call because they'll save their seats, as many as they possibly can. Okay,
Yeah.
That's my analysis.
Yep, I think you're 100% on the money. I don't think we're too far apart, are we?
No, I think we're all very much on the same thing. We're just approaching it in different directions.
Yeah. No, very much think that that's the way it'll go. Will the Labor strategists see it that way?
Oh, yeah, they're looking at it already.
They would be. You've got to think. However, it's a big toss of the coin. But, you know, if there are big tosses to be tossing these things, it would be the tosses in the Labor Party. So,
well done. Beautiful. Well done. I like that.
I'm glad I can.
The night on a laugh. Excellent joke. Well done.
Glad. Friday night, you know, it's not my only trick. You know, I have other tricks like that one.
Hey, do we still have our famous copper?
Do we still have our famous copper? Yeah. We do indeed.
Good lad. Yeah, go for it. Fuck it. Yeah.
We do indeed still have our famous copper. Yep. And just be careful now. A special message to Black Sheep, mate. Now I know you've been through there once, but brother, did
when you come
check?
to Sydney, mate, just know this is the Aussie Cossacks' backyard.
Phone call. He likes a phone call or an email to if you come into town, he likes to know. Okay. And as for this fella,
what a clustered fuck this is.
Well, that defines Australia, period, nowadays. It's one of the
really
best words you've ever said, John.
Yep, one of the truest things he's ever said. So,
and I'm going to say this, John, because it's such a clusterfuck, and I want to enjoy my weekend, I'm going to say goodbye.
He's gone. Quick wave tonight because, well, he's he's got an audience. He's getting, cheered on from behind there. So we're not going to blow his ego up too badly. All right, folks, you have yourself a fabulous weekend. If you're one of the folks that are coming to see us, or indeed a couple of them, coming to see us catch up with What That tomorrow, he'll be there, foot in flaming glory. Well, hopefully it won't be flaming, but it'll be there in all its glory. It won't be the gory glory. It will be wrapped up so you don't have to gaze at it. But I'm sure if you're of strong enough disposition to do so, he's got some photos he can show you that will certainly open your eye up to what an amputation is all about. Looking forward to seeing as many of you as can make it tomorrow to the Sundowner, just off the Bruce Highway at Caboolture, at the Bribie Island side of it. I think it's 8 to 14 Aerodrome Road in Caboolture. Very easy. It's basically as soon as you come off and head towards Bribie, it's right there on your left-hand side, right beside Mickey D's. Don't get the two confused. We're going to have a nice steak for lunch, not humans. Just saying. Watch out for the dickheads if you're traveling that road that will be on the Bruce Highway. It's renowned for
You
them.
let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rock!